Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel and thank you for tuning in. I hope you all having a fantastic day today. In today's video, we are doing a complete macro and short-term analysis for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market as a whole, discussing the critical levels of support and resistance, how Bitcoin's price action is developing, the recent pullback on the altcoin market, and even the bounce on Bitcoin dominance. We are going to be going over absolutely everything you need to know about both Bitcoin and the altcoin market. Before we get into it, make sure to smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos for Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, just pure, raw TA. If that is the kind of content you are interested in, you can join us on Telegram. This is the first link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop for cryptocurrency with Bitcoin and the relevant economic news. And if you were interested in joining our VIP channel, you can do that by clicking the pinned comment of the free channel, contacting our admin, checking out a 53+ month trading track record, or watching a 10-minute video showing you inside the channel. Go ahead and check it out, guys. Let's jump into the content. So over the past 24 hours, we have seen a few notable things occur. Number one, we have seen the total altcoin market cap here on the right-hand side break back underneath that 1.06 to $1.03 trillion horizontal level of resistance. With that breakdown, we have also seen Bitcoin dominance push toward the upside, and we have seen the total cryptocurrency market cap slightly pull back from around 3.9 to 3.8 trillion. With this, we have seen Bitcoin continue aggressively toward the sideways direction. Now, overall, Bitcoin is still looking very healthy, and this is not too much of a concern for Bitcoin. However, when we see the total cryptocurrency market cap pull back and we see Bitcoin dominance increase, this is generally going to be a bad sign for altcoins, and we have seen an altcoin correction. Now, whether or not this has been as a result of general profit taking, we have seen an aggressive rally upwards of the altcoin market over the course of the last 8 days, or whether or not this is a bit of a correction moving into the upcoming interest rate data is of course besides the point. The fact is we have seen a bit of a pullback here for the altcoin market, and we need to be discussing what this means. We'll do that in the video today. Let's move over to our market data to start. 24-hour volume and 24-hour liquidations. Liquidations have jumped up, of course, with corrections across the board, mainly for altcoins. So we look at the 24-hour liquidations, you can see over here, the majority coming from Ethereum and from other altcoins, including some of the larger altcoins here, with less than 10% of 24-hour liquidations actually coming from Bitcoin. So not too much volatility here for Bitcoin, a lot of volatility for the rest of the market, with $735 million in liquidations, up 56%, the majority coming from long positions. Volume is down 7% at 427 billion. Moving over to the DXY, the DXY is pushing toward the downside. Of course, that is still going to be the expectation. We are watching for 92 to 93 as macro targets. Again, depending on what happens with interest rates will determine how quickly this does drop toward the downside. We are still expecting future interest rate reductions, and looking at our flow chart above here, we can see a direct correlation between future interest rate reductions, falling interest rates, and a weakening dollar. And of course, with all of this, we do see debt to service ratios decrease, available household cash flows increase, and thus retail spending on asset increases, and debt to service ratios falling results in companies acquiring cheaper debt to purchase more income producing assets. So with all of that, we generally do see the DXY drop, we see the dollar weaken, and we see asset prices continue to rise. And if we look at the S&P 500, the S&P 500 is continuing to soar toward the upside, reaching that next target of ours of 6,400 on the dot over here. Again, as we said in yesterday's video, provided we remain above this horizontal level at 6,333, we are watching for our next target at 6,400. Again, as we are moving in price discovery, we don't have exact targets to give you. We have to go based on psychological levels and review how the price is developing based on strength as the price is moving toward the upside. So at the moment, we are still looking very healthy, we are still looking very strong, and we are expecting higher targets still, 6,500, the next psychological level. When will we be concerned? We will be concerned for the S&P 500 if we drop back below this prior level of support. So essentially what we are doing here is we are watching to see how the price develops. We are making sure we are developing these higher lows, and we are respecting priorly developed horizontal levels of resistance, now support. So provided we sustain above here, we would expect continuations, then a pullback, and then we'd flip into another level of resistance, and then hoping this level would hold, etc., until we finally break a level of horizontal support, and then we'd be flipping that trend in the short-term downward direction into our prior weekly highs. So at the moment, overall, still very good, watching how the price develops. Critical level to sustain above, 6,333. Next target has been reached, 6,400, expecting 6,500 if the trend continues. Before we get into Bitcoin and the rest of the analysis, I do want to quickly touch on the upcoming economic news. The most notable news event we do have, of course, is in 6 days' time. This is going to be our interest rate decision. At the moment, the probabilities are very much stacked in favor of an interest rate pause at 97.4%, only 2.6% in favor of a reduction, and this has actually increased from 95 to 97 over the last couple days. Now, due to this, we may be seeing a little bit of risk off occurring for the altcoin market. As we mentioned in our yesterday video, or the day before, should I say, anytime there is any sort of speculation or uncertainty, whether it be economic or whether it be industry specific, we generally do see Bitcoin dominance push up, as Bitcoin is considered to be or perceived to be a more safe and reliable asset in the cryptocurrency market. With that, we do see Bitcoin dominance push and we see altcoins pull back. So whether or not the market is here, risk off or taking profits moving into interest rates, we have as a consequence to Bitcoin, of course, holding sideways and the total cryptocurrency market cap pulling back and Bitcoin dominance moving up, seeing that small correction here for altcoins. But again, a lot of people get, I guess, tunnel vision when we see, you know, what was this, like 10 days of green candles on the altcoin market. They expect that to just continue forever. The reality is we are going to see profit taking. We are going to see pullbacks. This is healthy for the market to establish new supports and hopefully continue upwards. So we're going to talk about that in just a second. Now, before we get into all that, make sure to sign up to BitGet, BitUnix, and BingX with the exchange links down below. You'll get a lifetime trading fee discount of 15%, which can build up to 45% based on your trading volume. You'll support me making this content for you on a daily basis. And of course, you'll support yourself trading on exchanges I use and I trust. Go ahead and check it out and let's jump back into it. If you are looking for a new exchange or just want to support the channel, sign up to BitUnix with the link down below. You'll get a lifetime trading fee discount of 15%, which can build up to 45% based on your trading volume, as well as access to a bonus reward center, and of course, all of the exclusive campaigns we run on this exchange. You'll also get access to BitUnix being a non-KYC exchange, meaning you can sign up from anywhere in the globe without regulations. And most importantly, I only promote exchanges I trust and I use. As you can see, I trade on BitUnix very regularly, being the highest VIP level with over $500 million in trading volume for the last 30 days. And lastly, if you were interested in signing up to our other two exchanges, BingX or BitGet, you can also do that via the links down below. You as well will get the 15% trading fee discount and everything else that comes with it. Go ahead and sign up. Thank you for supporting. Let's jump back in. Okay, legends, let's go ahead and get right back into it. And I want to start on Bitcoin today because, yeah, a lot has happened for the altcoin market, but Bitcoin is very, very important here because although the market is pulling back for altcoins, the Bitcoin price is still holding very, very stable. And I get a lot of questions over the last 24 hours. What do I think is happening? Do I think we're going to see steeper corrections? How Bitcoin is looking? And the answer to that is the market is still looking very healthy and Bitcoin is still looking very stable. And I'm going to remain true to that statement, provided we remain above this 115.2 thousand level, which is essentially that buy side liquidity. Let's jump into the macro and come back to the short term in a second. For the macro chart for Bitcoin, the macro chart is still showing potential that we may move into another leg up. If we look at a few things, number one, we are looking at the weekly RSI. Number two, we are looking at this uptrending diagonal resistance. Again, we only have two tests, so at the moment it is speculative. And number three, we are looking at these vertical lines, which represent top dates based on the 4-year cycle. The first one being the 4th of August. This is based on the negative 2 bar theory. Again, the 4th is actually the 1st to the 2nd, so the first week of August. And the second being the 1064 day bar theory, which is again going to give us an exact top of the 6th of October. So we have two potential top dates based on the current 4-year cycle. Now, whether or not the 4-year cycle will actually come to fruition, whether or not it will break, whether or not we will see it actually just continue through the top dates is a whole nother question. The answer to that is it is impossible to know until we see it happen. At the moment, we're not taking these as definitive written in stone top dates. We are more so using these as key pivot points or dates of interest where we may see reactionary price action, which could form macro reversal points. So it is not a definitive top date. It is more so a date of which we should be paying attention to the price action to see how we react around there. Now, regardless of whether or not we break the 4-year cycle or we continue through the 4-year cycle and continue upwards, the reality is a lot of people are now going to be paying attention to these key dates. Not so much the 1st of August, but definitely the 6th of October. So we will very likely see reactionary price action. Now, the reason we have these two dates is because when we're moving into price discovery, we simply do not have any historical price action data above the current price. So we do not have any historical evidence to see how buyers and sellers have reacted at these hypothetical levels that we have not reached yet. So we do not see demand, we do not see weakness at these levels, we have seen nothing. We do not know how the price will react. So when we do not have historical data, we need to use, number one, contextual analysis, and number two, we can use speculative analysis, which falls under the category of current trends, which falls under the category of momentum, how that will react in the future, and falls under the category of cycle trading, to I guess give an understanding of what the price action will likely do if the current trend were to resume into these key dates. If the current trend were to resume into these key dates, a potential target for Bitcoin, and this isn't my top prediction, this isn't my prediction of targets, this is simply an assessment of what the trend is doing, and then extrapolating what is happening into the dates of the 1st of August and the 6th of October. So to simplify that again, if the trend were to continue exactly how it is, the price predictions based on these two dates will be as follows. Number one, 131,000, 136,000, and 144,000. Those would be the realistic targets for Bitcoin if the trend were to resume, if the RSI breaks up, and we move into the 4-year cycle tops projected by those two hypothetical dates being the 1st week of August and the 6th of October. Whether or not we actually see that happen is going to be depending on how the short-term price action reacts, particularly at these prior levels of resistance, which we'll be discussing in the video just shortly. But it's important to note that when we're looking at the macro price action in terms of macro outlook, these are going to be potential targets. Now, some people are going to say, well, that is so bearish, we're going to see 400,000. And you may be right, but you're definitely not going to be right in the time frame of which we're projecting the current trend. Maybe you'll be right in 10 years, okay? So you have to be, again, like I said in my prior video, you have to be realistic, okay? You have to be time frame oriented in your analysis, okay? And your analysis and your predictions have to be actionable. Otherwise, you're just throwing random numbers into the air and hoping they eventually hit. So that is what we're watching out for, and that is what the macro charts are projecting. So moving back to the 4-year cycle again, 4-year cycle top, the 6th of October, based on the traditional, very well-known top date for Bitcoin. When we're looking at the negative 2 bar theory, which is simply suggesting that the cycle is reducing by 2 months every single time, which we have seen in the past 2 times play out, and currently we might see for the 3rd time. If we do, it would suggest a potential August top. Now, whether or not we then enter a traditional 12-month bear market is again an entirely another question, but we may see these particular dates act as reversal points, which could result in a correction which you could definitely capitalize on. Something to consider. Moving to the short-term price action, as we mentioned, with altcoins dropping, Ethereum dropping, well, guess what? Bitcoin's still looking very steady, and that's a very good thing because Bitcoin, at the moment, what we are seeing is holding within this horizontal consolidation between 115 and 120. And we've gone over this a couple times, and we'll say it again today. Provided Bitcoin is able to remain above the buy side liquidity, which is sitting right here. Okay, if you can't see what I'm circling, it is 115,200 to 115,500. Okay, essentially the point of which, if we drop below, we enter this gap on the VRPV. Okay, this is a horizontal level of support, a major point of liquidity. Provided we remain above here, the expectations are that we do eventually break the range high at 120. Okay, so provided we remain above 115, we eventually will see a break of 120. For us to see a positive momentum shift on the weekly, okay, the RSI to break up, we absolutely need to get above 120 on the short term. We will not see the positive momentum shift unless we get above 120. If we break above 120, we will be clearing a resistance we have now been in for about 10 days, and we will likely see a continuation back to retest all-time highs, potentially into new all-time highs, facilitating the move into this upper range on the weekly. That is a very good thing. But again, for us to see that happen, 120,000 needs to break and we need to sustain. Until then, all we can discuss is the potential risks. What are the risks and how could they impact the rest of the market? The risk factor here is that if we drop below 115,000, we enter this small low historical resistance range into our next support. We've got a minor support here at around 113.2 to 114, okay? And if we lose that level, then we are really in trouble for a correction to 110. And if we see that happen, this is the move we're worried about. If we see that happen, we really start to run the risk of the total cryptocurrency market cap deviating underneath that weekly high. So we'll come and talk about this in a second. If we essentially break back below the weekly high, we mark this as deviation from the range with the bearish divergence. We then see a steep correction for the broader cryptocurrency market, altcoins included. So we can see how, although Bitcoin is not doing much, it is still very much directing the macro outlook for the cryptocurrency market. Very important we still pay attention to that. And that is it for Bitcoin. Let's jump to altcoins. So altcoins have corrected. Bitcoin dominance did not break below the 50 EMA. We have bounced again from the 50 EMA. The 50 EMA is now held for very, very long, since the 6th of March, 2023. So we're looking over 2 years now. The 50 EMA is held as a weekly support. Again, when are we watching altcoins to go up again? Well, if we break below the 50 EMA, we're going to the 200, we would see a pretty big jump for the altcoin market if that to occur. But until then, we are holding that 50 EMA. We do run the risk of Bitcoin dominance continuing upwards. What we can see on the weekly here is we are actually coming to retest. If we zoom in a little bit, this change of character level, which is right here. If we remain underneath this change of character level until the next 4 days in the weekly close, I would consider it very likely we continue back underneath the 50 EMA and altcoins continue back upwards, okay? If we jump back above the change of character, however, that is going to be a very bad sign, and we could see Bitcoin dominance push all the way back up. Probability-wise, in favor of a downward move, provided we remain underneath that change of character. At the moment, we have seen a bounce from the 50, but that is a natural reaction after what has been, like I said, a massive pullback for Bitcoin dominance. A lot of people are sitting here panicking, worried altcoins have pulled back a little bit. The reality is a lot of these altcoins are up considerably since the breakout of 940 billion. People just expect to see green after green after green after green for 20 days straight without any pullbacks. And the reality is we're going to see pullbacks, and that is why it is so important to be taking profits as the market goes up. You have to make the decision. Otherwise, you're forced into making decisions after the market pullbacks, and now you start panicking and wondering what you should do after the pullback. So again, either you make decisions for yourself or the market's going to force you into making those decisions for you at a less optimal time. For altcoins, I do think there is still hope that we will continue upwards. Again, a lot does rest on Bitcoin dominance here. I think Bitcoin dominance, if we reject from a change of character, we will get back underneath that 50 EMA and we can see a retest of the 200. But if we do not get, if we break back above the change of character on the weekly, I'd expect continuations upwards of Bitcoin dominance. For the total cryptocurrency market cap, the reality is total cryptocurrency market cap is still looking very good, so optimism should be on the table, and that is going to remain the fact while remain above 3.73. If we drop below 3.73, then I'd be very concerned for the broader cryptocurrency market, because again, for that to occur, we would need to see Bitcoin at least drop below 115, which is very unlikely at the moment. But if we do see all of that happen, well, then we run the risk of steeper corrections for not only Bitcoin, but for the broader cryptocurrency market as a whole. So overall, guys, to summarize everything, optimism still on the table. Market looks good. Bitcoin looks very healthy, holding above key levels. I'd only really be concerned if these levels start to break, because the macro implications on the broader cryptocurrency market become quite severe if we do drop below. Until then, we have seen some profit taking on altcoins, which is considerably normal, considering the current circumstances moving into interest rates and how the market has reacted. Again, I'd only really be concerned if Bitcoin dominance starts to really aggressively push back up now, as that would signal to us that this isn't just profit taking, this isn't a full-on de-risking for altcoin market. If we do see that to start to come back down, that is going to be green lights for altcoins. We will likely see the altcoin market recover. Thank you for tuning in. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video. See you all then. Bye.